Hello guys, and welcome to another map first impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Kernstadt 2017. And this map can be found up at maru.net, and there will be a link in the description. So I understand that this map is an iteration of a map that's been around for quite some time. Kernstadt translates to city core, and according to the Maru posting, city core dates back to 2013. When Big Daddy 99 published its first version, and there's been subsequent versions for Farm Sim 15, and now it has come to Farm Sim 17. So, this is a great big map. This is a 4X map. This map has two unique train paths. There's some pretty significant elevation changes up in the northeast corner of the map. I have to say that this is the first time I've seen this map. I did not play this map in 2015 or 2013, so this iteration is the first time that I have seen it. So let's just go ahead and jump on in. So we are going to pick the Jeep instead of our Gator because this is a big map. So I'll pull up the log. So we can see that we're going to expect some additional crop types. We've got lots of fabric scripts loaded, so there's plenty of extra industries on this map. Looks like we've got some animated dogs and horses. And there we go. So let's go on in. So we start here at the front porch of our house. This particular house is the model where you can go in and explore and navigate around and whatnot. You can go in the kitchen and make yourself some breakfast in the morning. So let's go ahead and take a look at the map itself. So here's the map. You can see we have additional crops. We have oat, rye, triticale, millet, and spelt. And we can see that we own fields 21 and 23, and they start fully fertilized. Interesting enough, field 15 is also fertilized, but we do not own that field. And let's see here. Both fields are ready to harvest. And field 21 has barley, it looks like, and field 23 has wheat. So this map is seasons prepared, which means it does have a snow mask installed. I am not using seasons at the moment. When I do these videos, I like to bring them up without very many mods installed, so I do not have seasons mod installed currently, but I did pull it up with seasons on, and I did basically force snow to appear on the map. And what I found were that buildings and sheds had the snow mask on them, so snow did not accumulate, but the roads were not snow masked. So what that means is when snow accumulates, snow will accumulate on the roads, and your mileage may vary with respect to being able to plow these roads. Some maps will allow you to plow the road, other maps will not. I did not try to plow this particular road, so I don't know if you'll be able to clear it from snow or not. So that's just something to be aware of if you do play with seasons. Something else to be aware of with respect to seasons is when I loaded this map up with seasons enabled, for probably about 20 seconds, I was getting like 10 to 15 frames per second. And I think it's while basically the season scripts were running and changing out textures and things like that, given that this is a 4X map. And then if I had my F2 up, I would see it go from like 14, 15 frames a second, and then I would jump to 60. And it would stay pretty steady at 60 from that point forward. So let's take a look at our starting equipment. So we start with 4 tractors. The range in horsepower from 127 to 435 horsepower. We have the large Massey Ferguson harvester with grain header. We have a series of cultivators and plows and seeders. We do have a little tipper here. We have a fairly large forage wagon, a pickup truck, and a power washer, and that is it. So while we're at it, let's just go ahead and lease up our Jeep. And we will get that. And the store is right across the shop, or right across the road from our farm. So we're going to reset that and see where it goes. And you can see the reset point is right here by the chickens. So let's go ahead and explore our farm itself. Let's see which way. Yeah, let's go over here. Let's just go over here to the pigs. Just start out over here. Let's go ahead and take out our loan. And we might as well look at some of these other things. So here are our various sell points. You can see we've got an abundance of sell points. And you can see by the size of this scroll bar that we have an abundance of things that we can sell. So we have all of our standard crops. Wood chips, hay, straw, grass, silage, etc. We have our 5 additional crops. And then we have board pallets, but we can't sell those, but we will make them for something else. We have cheese, homogenized milk, flour, bread, pallets. I don't really know what that is, but maybe we can figure that out. We can't sell it, so we must make it for some other product. We have sugar, molasses, soap, ham, and I don't really know what that is. Again, I really wish they would have like alt tags that would show up and tell you what those are. So here you can see our equipment. It's all fairly new. Our pickup may have a lot of days on it, but it does not have very many operating hours. We have all 3 animal types on this map. We do not start with any particular animals. And we have a massive storage capacity. I don't know if that's 10 million or 100 million units. All right, let's go over here and take a look at the pigs. So you can see this looks like a pretty standard Farm Sim 17 pig area, except instead of having mud, we have grass. So this is where you would blow your straw in. Here we have our water trough. Our feed trough is around the corner. Okay, this is where we're going to buy or unload our animals. At least this should be the point. Well, that should have been the point. Let's see if we can't find that. We have our manure pit and our slurry pit here. Looks like it's around front. Alright, so it was moved on us. And we have some storage building over here for our pig operations. So there's our pigs. So they get to walk around in grass, not mud, on this particular map. Alright, let's make our way back across the street. This is the, actually this is the horse pen. We have some animated horses here. They're in here somewhere. Maybe they're on another side, but I know we've got animated horses here somewhere. So our gate opens. Alright. We have a storage shed here. You know, it's interesting, we have a large slurry pit here for storing slurry. Okay. And the rest of our animals are over here. So as you can see, we have a pig food machine. And we have a forage making machine, or a mixed rations machine. We have a silage silo here for making silage. We bring in chaff, grass, or hay, and we get silage out of here. We've got one of our storage sheds with our starting equipment. Now over here we have our farm silo. You can see we have the information board. So one of the map authors that also did the map Saxonia worked on this map. So you can see his influence on the silos and several other areas around the map as we explore. And what's interesting about this silo system is that you can dump with a tipper or off the train. And the fill point is right here. So you could fill directly to the train, or you could bring a tipper around here and fill from the tipper. So that's a rather interesting idea that I haven't seen on other maps. So here we have a storage silo for seed and fertilizer. And this particular silo is not marked, but I pulled it up in the editor, and this silo is for liquid fertilizer. So the left is the in, and the right is the output. So here we have our cow area. You can see one of the feed troughs. That's a water trough. Let's go over here. Looks like this is where our grass trough is for our cows. Okay. And of course we have our long feeding trough here. We've got a static hired farmhand who doesn't look too excited to be cleaning out the cow area. We have our silage bunker here for the cows. And we see that the chaff trigger does come up when we enter the bunker. Here we have our hay, straw, and grass sales. And here we have a storage shed just for storing farm equipment. We've got fill points here for seed fertilizer and liquid fertilizer. And now this particular building is set up to be a hay loft, if you will. This is in German, but as you can see, we can store grass, straw, silage. Looks like we can store sugar beets and potatoes in here, as well as pig food and mixed rations and hay. So the way it works is we would tip the products into here, and then around back we'll go through this little door. And then around back is where we would tip out to get our product. And then here we have our starting fleet of tractors all lined up. Our harvester has been positioned over at field 23, ready to go ahead and do that harvest. So here we have our slurry and our manure points for our cows. So let's go over here and go ahead and buy up some animals and see them pop in. Oh, and here we have our milk trigger to draw milk out. Let's see if we can figure out where the buy trigger is. Here it is. So since we can make cheese and homogenized milk, we will obviously need to pull milk out from the dairy. Alright, let's just run through here. Looks like you all are going on your way to the feed troughs, but we don't have anything in there for you guys. We have a wash bay here. And here's our sheep area. Alright, so we have our grass trough for our sheep. And we have our water trough for our sheep. And this appears to be where our wool pallets will spawn. So that is our sheep area. And we have some more big storage buildings here to store our equipment. You can see where our Jeep is, so now you know where the reset point is. And let me go over here and show you this. I really like this treatment here where we've got the tree and the benches. Now, I would be lying to say that I would be pretending very badly to react to what we're about to see, pretending that this is the first time I saw it. But I can tell you what my reaction was when I first did see this, is I'm pretty sure I was literally laughing out loud for at least 5 minutes. And I still get quite the chuckle when I see it, because I have to say it is one of the funniest things that I have seen on a farming sim map. So with that said, here we go. Alright, so we have a young gentleman here who's clearly looking at a Sports Illustrated bathing suit edition. And we have what looks like a very shocked and upset grandmother finding his grandson, or her grandson, looking at such filth. So I can tell you that I stared at this and I laughed for at least 5 minutes hysterically, because it is utterly hilarious. Basically, her expression is what gives the hilarity. I just can't stop wanting to look at that. Here we have our little doggy running around the farmyard. Alright, so that's enough time spent on the farmyard and such. Let's do this a little backwards. Usually we take the train around last, but we're going to take the train around first. And as we take the train around, I'm going to talk to you about this map and what I think about this map with respect to using it for seasons. So first off, let's take a look at our big PDA again. Remember, we own just 2 fields, fields 21 and 23. So with seasons, we start in early spring on all seasons maps, and by default, all crops are set to harvested. Okay, so with seasons play, we start with just 2 fields. They are harvested at the outset, so we're not going to be able to harvest any crops right away. The ground is likely going to be either frozen or very cold to the point where you will not be able to plant crops right away. You'll need to do field work like cultivating, fertilizing. You could seed, assuming that the season is ready for seeding, or you may have to wait to seed those 2 fields. But basically, since you're only starting with 2 fields, you're going to be pretty bored very early in the game, and you're not going to have much to do at all for probably, I would say, 7 to 8 game days, depending on the length of season you pick. So if you pick 3 game days per season, okay, you're going to be probably able to plant in day 2. And you will probably be able to plant both fields in 1 day. Okay? So you're done. Now you have to wait till late summer or possibly early autumn before you can do anything. So that's going to be... So if you're done planting the 2nd day of spring, so you have 1 full day of spring. So here we are coming up to our farm. You can see where we're coming through our fill and tip points for the silos. There's our big slurry tank. So you've got 1 full day of spring that you have to waste. You've got all 3 days of summer to waste, so that's 4 days right there. And you probably got 1 to 2 days of autumn with nothing to do other than maybe fertilize a few times. So that's 3, 4, 5, that's possibly 6 game days with absolutely nothing to do. No money income, nothing. So I really think that for this map to really be worth doing with seasons play, I think you really need to own fields 20, 21, 22, 23, and probably something like 11, 12, and 13. You probably really need to own 7 fields to really give yourself something to do while you're waiting for your crops to really mature. So I think that's going to be something that map makers are going to start thinking about more as more and more people want to play seasons play, is how are they going to be starting? Unlike normal gameplay where you can have both of your starting fields ready to harvest. So first game day you can be harvesting fields, earning money, being ready to replant them, and basically ready to rock and roll. But with seasons play, that's not going to be happening. So as you can see, we're coming around the side of the map. I'm going to try to not clip through all of these trees because it's rather disturbing. So here we have a sugar factory, and what's interesting, you can see the tip there on the train tracks. So you could bring in sugar beets on the train for that factory. So we have a dairy there, and you can see the map is fairly flat. There are some changes in elevation here and there, but for the most part the map is very flat. The fields are all very square, very AI friendly, and the way you can look at the fields, I would say that this map is very friendly for the big bud and for very big equipment, simply because the fields are so wide open. They're not cut off with respect to accessing the fields. The roads are not too terribly bad. There's not a whole ton of traffic on the roads, and you know, the roads are not narrow. There's not a whole bunch of stuff that's right up against the edge of the road. If anything, the train is a bit curvy, with some pretty bad curves that I think at this speed the train would probably fly off the tracks. Alright, so that is that train. Let's go ahead and jump on in this train, and we'll do the same little tour, but this time we will pay a bit more attention to the map itself, or at least I will pay a bit more attention to the map itself. Because I've finished my season rant with respect to this map and the number of fields that you own from the outset. So here we are. We are basically at the top of the world. We are at the highest point on the map right here. We've got a nice long train bridge here. You can see our road dipping way down into the valley there. We've got a really cool bridge that spans there that we will go over. Sorry about that with the trees. So these red Silo King stations are kind of the equivalent of the train transfer stations that you see on maps like Goldcrest Valley and such, where you can tip into those and dump into the train. All right. So let's come back around, and you can see where we just were. That's kind of the city part of the map, up in that upper corner elevation. These fields are very big. I would say the biggest field is probably close to 60 hectares. The two fields that you start out with are probably 7 to 11 hectares in size, to give you a kind of a frame of reference. So while the fields are big, you only have 2, so you're going to pretty much run out of stuff to do fairly quick, I think, if you do seasons play. Alright, so we're coming around here, coming into a sell point. We've got one of those Silo King transfer stations. The sell point you can tip from the train or from your tipper. We will come around and look at this later, but that's production facility for seed, fertilizer, and liquid fertilizer. So we're making our way back up to the highlands, if you will. So over in that direction is our farm. That's where we start. I don't know if it's going to come through on the video, but you can see kind of the flickering of the silo display from this distance. And we're about to come up to, if you would play this map with the Loco Drive mod, I would wonder if your 2 trains would collide up at this point. Because the 2 tracks literally cross right here at this turn. Actually, it's not this turn; it's coming up. So let's jump in cab here because we got a little tunnel train that we're going to go through. So that's kind of a weird glitch with your camera. When you enter the train, you look down for some reason. So you probably don't want to do that. Now up here is where the train tracks actually cross each other. So if you were playing the Loco Drive mod, you would have these 2 trains driving around the map by themselves. Right here is where they cross. Right there. So I would challenge that it probably at some point your trains could end up running into each other, and that might be a rather interesting thing. So another interesting, neat aspect of this train system is the train track we're on now is being elevated, and the lower train track will turn and cross underneath it. Okay, and now we are going to start our climb up the long, high incline to get to the back high point. And that's pretty much the train system. And that's pretty much the map as seen from the train. Okay, so we're going to jump in our Jeep and go ahead and make our way around. Hopefully you all have stuck with me this far. There's our animated horses up here. They were there, it's just they weren't, I guess they didn't load up right away. They must have some level of delay because we have a static horse at the water trough, and then we have the 3 animated horses running around in there. So the big building to our left is just a storage shed. You can go in there and open the doors and whatnot. That is snow mask prepared, so it does not snow inside in there. So here is our vehicle shop. Let's just jump over here. So there we would do our customizing and our buybacks. Okay. Our pig area is over here to our right. And directly across the road is the bakery. And the bakery is used to make bread. Okay. So our bread comes out here, or at least this is where we would back our truck up to get the bread. Over here we have a fill point for sunflowers. Sunflowers goes in here, and flour goes here. Okay, and that's how we get our bread. So now we will make our way around the map, and I will eventually show you all where we make the flour to allow us to make our bread. You can see also very close to the farm is the BGA. Here we have a fuel fill point. So this is a fairly standard Farm Sim 17 BGA with 5 bunkers here, our Silo King, and the Digestate tank. Alright. So let's take a look at the map and try to figure out a plan of action. Oops. Alright, so we're going to go this way and make our way clockwise around the map, and we will end in the northeast corner of the map. So while we are heading down this long, very straight road, you see we've got a flying bird in the map. So let me try to get straightened up here so we can just kind of pan around, look at the various fields and other areas. Okay. So here we have field 26. Let's get a frame of reference, a size. Let's go over here. Now, what's odd is that the mission and the buy icons are in the middle of the field. So I guess if you're running crop destruction, you're going to be destroying some crops to get out here to do a mission. So field 26 is 23.8 hectares, and it's almost $2 million. So let's take a look at that field. So that's 26 hectares right here. Okay, so we can imagine what field 9 is. We'll take a look at it when we get over there. But if this is 26, then you can kind of imagine that this one and this one are probably like 11, 10 hectares in size. All right. Let's get back onto the program. So I can already tell that this is going to be a fairly long video. It's probably going to be close to an hour. But I do like to be thorough, and I like to cover all of our areas. Alright, so here we have seed production. And if you haven't seen this particular factory before, our seed will come out that pipe. We will put this one gets seeds, so this one gets our grain, and this one I believe gets, yep, this one gets solid fertilizer. Okay, and you can see our information board right there. Here we have our fertilizer production. So this gets solid manure. We get liquid slurry here, and we get solid fertilizer pellets coming out of there. And this is our liquid fertilizer production. We put in here solid fertilizer and water, and we get liquid fertilizer out of the tap right there. Okay, so we can produce our own seed and fertilizer. And then this is a sell point. Again, we drove through here with the train. So there is a log sell point around the corner here we will look at. So this Silo King is kind of a temporary silo that will take our grains. So we would tip in there, and we would be able to then transfer them to train via the pipe. Okay, we've got a crane here to unload logs and sell logs, and on the right, coming up here, I'll try to get to the camera so we can see it. Yep, so on the right here by the train, you can see the tip for the train car. And on the left, you can see the tip for the standard tipper. So let's see where we are. We are at that place. And that place will take all of our standard crops and our extra crops. Okay. All right. So let's we'll go straight and hit a couple of these. We got a spinnery up here, and we've got our biomass heating plant that it takes wood chips. And then we'll cut across a dirt road and get down to the sell point down south. So something else with respect to seasons is when I fired up the map with seasons enabled, I went ahead and forced the map to show me the various textures for the seasons. And I noticed that not all of the trees are going to drop their leaves in the winter. Not all the trees are going to change color in the spring and autumn. So that is something to be aware of. So here we have our biomass heating plant for wood chips. This particular building is the spinnery for wool sales. Okay. We do have a storage building here that we could store items into. We can store equipment or bales. You can put bales in there to keep them dry. So you see, once again, we're driving. You could probably merge these fields. You'd have to take those trees out, but you can merge these fields to be something ridiculously big and insanely time-consuming to harvest and plant. But if you're into that thing, then that is definitely a possibility. So the structure here to our left is a sell point and is the flour mill. So we have what appears to be a fuel point over here. So here we have the sell point, and as you approach, the gates open. And in here, you have this is where you would deliver grain. And you also have, oops, let's get out and take a look at this. You also see here we have a fill pipe under the second pipe. There is the fill trigger. So you would dump your grain in here, and you would let some time pass, and then you'd be able to pull flour out of the top there. So that's where you're going to be able to produce your flour. So I have to say, incidentally, that you would have to be pretty masochistic to want to harvest this huge field of sugar beets. I mean, that would be pretty bad and pretty painful. That's 56 hectares of sugar beets. $4.5 million will buy this field, and if you actually do this mission, which it says will take 1,200 minutes, you'll get $400,000. But I challenge you to not do this mission, because this harvester will run out of gas long before you get anywhere close to finishing the mission. So you will have wasted how many countless hours watching the fuel gauges get lower and lower and lower, and know that there's no way you can drive over here and get fuel, because you'll get out of the field area and you'll be disqualified. There'll be no way to bring fuel to the harvester, so don't try it. Don't do it. You're going to be very disappointed. Let's make our way down across the map. You can see why I picked our Jeep for this, because we did not want to drive our little Gator at 30 miles an hour. That would have taken all day to get across the map. So down here, let me get right here. So directly to the right of the big tree there, in the foreground, is a red Silo King silo. That's another grain to train transfer station. So we've got an interesting Stonehenge type structure coming up. We'll need to go around here and go around the other bend before we see it. Depending on how clear your video stream is, you may see it. It's basically centered on the screen over there now. So we're driving up to it right now. It's rather interesting because the road kind of goes around it, as if the road was put in and discovered that it was directly in the way. So also at this point there is a turn off to go to the garden center, or garden area. So there you can see the Stonehenge type structure. Alright, so let's go down here and check out this garden area. So as you can see here, we have tip points for lots of various products here. We've got tip points for manure, straw, hay, grass, potatoes, sugar beets, wheat, canola, corn, and I guess that's barley. We also have fertilizer fill points. And we can sell our eggs down here. Alright. We're going to cut across the map again because there's a sell point right by the no, that's the hay barn. We're not going to go there. I've already shown you the hay barn. Alright, we're coming up on our dairy up here, as well as field 9, which appears to be the biggest field on the map. We will go ahead and check this field out. We're now in field 9. There's the buy icon. As you can see, this field just keeps going and going and going. Alright. As Field 9 is 79 hectares, 78.4 hectares, $6.3 million. So again, if you want some big equipment and want to play on a big field, well, Field 9, just get yourself $6+ million. Alright, so over here we have a fuel fill point. We have what looks like a liquid fertilizer fill point over there. We have eggs, and we have a sell point. Our sell point is Landhandel, and you can see it buys our standard crops. So here's our dairy. As you can see by this icon, this is where you bring pallets. So there is a pallet factory on this map. You can tell by this is where the pallets are produced by the conveyors. So we get out of this map, out of this factory, we get the following 3 products. We will get butter, homogenized milk, and cheese out of this factory. And this factory takes pallets and milk. So we already know where to deliver the pallets. There's our milk fill point for the factory. And there you go. Alright, we are going to, just for fun, we're going to cut across this other huge, I think this might be potatoes actually. We're going to cut across this big potato field. So here's our sugar factory. So the sugar factory will take water. Let's see. So we have pallets. The sugar factory would take pallets and sugar beets right here. Now this model looks very similar to the Sapporo factory, and on that there's water that's needed. But I don't see a fill point for the water, so maybe this factory has been modified. We'll take a look here at the information screen. So this factory only needs sugar beets and pallets. And it produces pallets of sugar, pallets of bagasse or molasses, and then another product which is called Trical, which comes out right here, and you can actually feed that to your cows, I believe. Let's take a look. Yep, right there. So bagasse you can feed your cows as power food. So that comes out of the pipe there. So you can come up here with a tipper, fill that up. It's very slow to produce, but you could fill your tipper up with that and then take it down and use it as a power food substitute for your cattle. Alright, let's keep on going. Alright, so we've got a milk sell point and a grocery store coming up here. We've got our pallet factory and sawmill coming up. And then a ham processing, a pig processing facility that makes ham and soap, interestingly enough. So we'll just get rid of that and just keep on motoring around the map. Alright, so here's the buy point, and it's rather interesting that this particular buy point will accept just 2 products. I believe it's this particular point. Let's take a look. Yep, it's the EKZ. And EKZ takes wood chips and what else? Well, okay, it just takes wood chips. I thought it took something else real weird. Oh, here it is. It's in red. I can't see it. It takes milk and wood chips. Rather interesting combination of products that this particular sell point buys. And then across the street, this is our milk sell point. You can see we have an egg buy icon there. Oops, and this is our grocery store. So this is the IKEA. It takes cheese, milk, where we already saw where we would put our milk. Bread basically takes lots of our finished products. As well as wool, potatoes, and sugar beets. Alright, so we've seen a few factories that that require pallets. So let's go see where we're going to make our pallets. So you can see the way this map is laid out and spread out. You're going to be doing a fair bit of driving product around the map. Alright, so here we are. We've got another nice puppy dog running around. So this is our board pallet factory. This factory will make board pallets and wood chips. So we come in here, this is where we will put our logs. So we will have to use the crane to unload our logs up here. This factory requires fuel. So you could put wood chips in here for fuel. You get your board pallets here, and then they run along the conveyor. Now what I don't know is if they stop here at the end or if they actually slide off onto the ground. I think it would be really cool if they slid off onto the ground. And then this factory produces wood chips as a byproduct. And I'm thinking they just collect here. I think they pile up here that you can then pick up. Yep, there's the digital indicator, kind of, and there's the pipe. So I guess that's probably a light. All right. So then we have over here, we take our board pallets that we just produced at the other factory, we bring them over here, and we put them right there. And this factory then produces empty pallets out of the board pallets, and you get wood chips out of this factory as well. All right, we are almost done, guys. I know we were very near approaching an hour. All we have to do is check out this really weird pig processing facility and then make our way up the hill to the area up there. So this is a rather interesting place. As you can see, the F1 menu says that this building takes pallets and pigs. So when I used Google Translate, that second word did not necessarily translate as pigs. It it translated something like porkers or something else. It was a rather interesting translation. So this is telling us to bring our pallets over here. So there we have it stenciled on the concrete. So our pallets go there. We unload our piggies here. And then we get pallets of ham and soap. At least that's what Google Translate said. The bottom one, the SEIFE, was soap. Thought that was kind of strange that we would get soap out of piggies. But then again, I've never processed a piggy to know if soap would be a viable product that you would get. So this whole area is tree lined. I'm just going to jump in truck to do this. Simply because when we get up here to the top, we're going to have difficulty driving and seeing with respect to all of the trees. And when we get up here, we will look around and kind of get a good view of the whole map from this high elevation. So up here, this is where you're going to buy your animals if you wish to have them, if you wish to deliver them to the farm. So let's see, it's not marked. Let's try to figure out where the trigger for that is. Okay, it's over here off to the side a little bit. So you see we've got a forestry area up here where you could put your forestry equipment to do some of your forestry work if you wanted to. I mean, that might be what would keep you busy if you did play seasons and you only had 2 fields. Is once you fertilized and sowed those fields, you would basically be doing forestry for the next 5 game days or so. So there's one of our trains. That's one of our train starting points. We have another fuel point up here. We have some sheds that we could build our equipment in up here. There's some more equipment building sheds. So here we have a large log wood chipper. So you would put your logs in. If you've not seen this product before, you would put logs in here, whole logs, and they would be converted and ground up to wood chips, and you'd get your wood chips out right there. Alrighty. Let's oops, we don't want to go up that. Alright, we're going to come around here, and this is our final sell point on the map. What's interesting about this area is that we've got 2 interesting food trucks parked here. We've got Grill Master, which is selling rotisserie chicken, it looks like, and some bratwurst. And then we have up here a what appears to be a vegetable food truck with some music. We got some music playing there, so I'll back off so I don't want YouTube to hit me with some type of copyright deal. And then here's our buy point and our egg point, egg sell point. So let's see what this area buys. Kaufland, I believe you pronounce it. So they take beets and potatoes, wool, There's plenty of wool buy points on this map, as well as some finished goods that they also take. So let's take one final look at the map. Let's see here. We went around here, so we covered this area. We covered here. We came back to there. We went down there. Pretty much think that we've pretty much covered the whole map. So guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please click the like button. And there is a nice overlook of the map. As I was saying, guys, if you like this video, please click the like button. If you have not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. I'll bring you new map videos every Tuesday and Thursday, as well as we have a play series that we do on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And we will just basically try to put out content every day of the week so there's plenty to watch. Also encourage you guys to come and check out the PCSG simulation community. They're pretty much into anything sim-based, farm sim, truck sim, flight sim. If there's a sim, then they're going to be into it, almost guaranteed. We also are one of the only hosts. I guess I would say we are the official only host for the Stevie mods. That includes maps like Cherry Hills and Pine Cove Farm. We are also going to be hosting very soon some Farmer Andy mods and some other mods. So come and check those out, and go ahead and sign up and join if you want. It is one of the best simulation-based communities out there on the internet, hands down. So until next time, guys, happy farming.